So we're still doing 5.4, and we're doing multiplying and dividing radicals, okay? So we have two rules here. We have the product rule and the quotient rule. Product just means multiply, and quotient means divide. See this T? This T, we pronounce it SH. So it says quotient. I don't know, it's crazy English rules. Quotient rule. And it just means the rule for dividing. Okay? So for radicals, when we have one thing under the radical, we can separate it. We can break it up. And we've done questions like this already. 36 is equal to 3 times 12. We can break it into the root 3 and root 12. And if we have it separate, we can put it back together. Root 2 times root 7, we put it together and it's 14. But this is only for multiply and divide, not add and subtract, okay? And for the quotient rule, divide, we do the same thing. If it's separate, we can put it together, and if it's together, we can separate it. So here we have it under one big radical sign, but I can see that 25 is a perfect square and 9 is, so I can just separate it because it's divide. This line just means divide. We separate it, and then I can go, oh, that's the square root of, that's 5. The square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 9 is 3. So you can break it up. You also can put it back together. So if these are separate, a radical, a square root 24, and a square root 6, you can put it under a big square root and just use your fraction button, not the radical button, the fraction button, and go 26 divided by 6, or 24 divided by 6. Well, that's 4. And then what's the square root of 4? 2. So we can put things back together. But this is only for multiply and divide. Okay? So let's look at some examples here. Well, we know 18 is 2 times 9. And so we can separate them and break it apart. And we know that the square root of 9 is 3, but whenever we have a whole number that goes in, or an integer that's multiplied by a square root sign or a radical sign, you always write it in the front. You put the coefficients in the front. Okay? So we can break it apart. And let's look at this one. Let's look at this one first. Okay. If they're apart, broken apart, we can put them back together because it's multiply here. 3 times 2 is 64, so I can put it together. And then 8 times 8 is 64, so then I can take the square root of the 64. So if they're apart, we can put them together. So here, if they're separate, we have them apart. We can put it together under a big square root sign. Okay. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and then we go, oh, 3 times 3 is 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. And if we have it under a big square root sign, we can separate it because it's just divide here. And the rule for divide is we can separate it, and the square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of 4 is 2. So we can break it apart, we can put it together. We can break it apart or put it together. Okay? So let's look at this one. It's okay if there's a 3 in front of the 6, a coefficient. Let's just not look at it for now. The rule is we can put them together because it's multiply. So this can be 6 times 10 under the radical sign, and just put the coefficient in the front. And that's a 60. 6 times 10 is 60. Can we make 60 more simple? Yeah. So let's make the whole thing more simple. 3 root 60 is equal to 6 root 15. Okay, so we've made it more simple by putting everything together and using the rules. Oh, that's a lot here. But I look at this and I go 16. Oh, we didn't check the answer. Let's check the answer first. It's always good to check the answer. 3 root 16 times root 10. Yes, we're correct. Good. Well, root 16 is a perfect square, so I can do this one. 6 square root of 16 is 4. And then just let's copy the rest up here. And 4 times 6 is 24. and there's a 4 root 328. Okay, so we've simplified the bottom a bit. I'm just going to write it down here. Can we simplify the top? Yeah, let's check. 4 root 328. Ah, that's 8 root 82 over 24. All right. Now let's put this in and check to see if we're done. Okay, so let's see if we got the correct answer. So 4 root 328 over 6 root 16. We didn't get the right answer. Let's write it over here. I can't see. There. So I'm just writing the correct answer down here. The 82 is the same, but this is 3 down here. Let's see. This is like a fraction here. Look at this. Maybe if we see this as a fraction, just a fraction by itself, we can simplify this here. So let's use our fraction button. 8 over 24. Yeah, that's equal to 1 over 3. Let's put the 82 back, root 82. But we never write it this way. We don't write the 1 in front. So we just go root 82 over 3. Look, it's correct now. So if you get the answer and it's different, maybe it's not because you're wrong. Maybe it's just because you're not finished yet. Okay, so you just keep trying. Okay, this is a mistake in the book. I don't know why there's a root 7 over, or the 7 over 2. Okay, so here's divide. So they're separate. I can shove them together with the rule. I can put them under a big radical sign and go 160 over 5. Let's use our fraction button. Can we make 160 over 5 more simple? Yeah, it's equal to 32. So this is really equal to the square root of 32. Can we make this more simple? Maybe. Yep. 4 root 2. And let's check our answers to see if we're correct. So root 160 over root 5. Yes. Put a check mark if you checked it with the calculator. Okay. So this is multiply, which means we can push them together under the same radical sign. So I'm going to push them together. 18 times 30, which is a really big number. I don't know what it is. 540. And can we make 540 more simple? Probably. It's a big number. Yep. Okay, now let's check to make sure we're correct. 8 square root of 18. You have to push over before you put the multiply sign. Yep, we are correct. Good. So make sure you put a check mark if you're correct. Okay, these are separate, so we can put them together. And it's the same as question 4. So 4 and question 5 are the same. So let's put them together because it's multiplying. So 3 times 27. What's 3 times 27? 81. So that's the square root of 81. Oh, 9 times 9 is 81. So the square root is 9. Let's check on our calculator. Root 3 times root 27. Yep, 9. We are correct. Good. We have separate radicals with divide between them. This and this question are the same. So we can put it all underneath one big radical sign. So let's do that. 32 over 8. And let's use our fraction button. 32 over 8. Can we make it more simple? Yeah. And we know 2 times 2 is 4, so the square root of 4 is 2. Oh, we didn't check. Let's check our answer. Always check, because then you know you're correct, and it's a good habit. Yes. And you feel good. You go, oh, we did it right. We did it correct. Okay. I don't know what to do with these, so they're separate, so I'm going to put them together, and this is divide. So the rule says when we have divide, we can put the radical signs together as one big one, and we just go 27 over 12. And then we're going to use our fraction button to see if we can simplify that. 27 over 12. Yeah, that's the same as 9 over 4. Oh, that's a perfect square. That's a perfect square. So they're together, but maybe I can break it apart. So because that's divide, I can separate this into the square root of 9 and the square root of 4, which is, this is 3 and this is 2. Let's check our answer to make sure we're correct. So square root of 27 over the square root of 12. Yep, we are correct. Good. Next. Because this is multiply, we can push our radicals together and put them underneath one radical sign. So 6 times 10, that's 60. And can we make that more simple? Yep, 2 root 15. Let's check just to make sure. Root 6 times root 10. Yep, we're correct. Good. We can't do anything with root 3 and 13, but because this is a multiply, we can put them together. 3 times 13 is 39. Can we make that more simple? Nope. So halas, we're done. Oh, I didn't check with our calculator. Let's check. Don't put a check mark unless you've checked. Yep, that's more simple, but we can't make it any more simple. We can separate these into root 75 divide by root 3, but look, 75 divide by 3, that's like Qatari money, Qatari dirhams. They're 25, so that's really equal to 25 with a root that's equal to 25. 75 divided by 3, and 5 times 5 is 25, so we know that the square root of 25 is 5. Let's check on our calculator. Square root. Now push the fraction button. 25. Oh, no. 75 over 3. Yep, we are correct. Okay. I can't do anything with that root 3, but look, it's multiply. So I can squish them together. So that's equal to 32 times 3. And how much is 32 times 3? 96. And can we make that more simple? The square root of 96? Yep, 4 root 6. Let's check to see if we're correct. The square root of 32 times root 3. Yep, good. So I can put these together because it's multiply. And the rule says when it's multiply or divide, we can put them together. So that's 12 times 48. I don't know what that is, so let's use our calculator. 576. Who would know that? Not me. Can we make that more simple? Probably, because it's such a big number. Oops, I put it in wrong. 576. Woo! It's just 24. It's nice, small. That was a perfect square. Okay, so now you know that when you multiply or divide radicals, you can squish them together or you can pull them apart, but only with multiply and divide.